In a nutshell, Livestation is an aggregator of live news. So we've partnered with dozens of major live news broadcasters ranging from CNN to CNBC, the BBC, Al Jazeera, many global brands as well as some more specialized niche brands to license their content and bring it online. So the model that we have is we operate our own technology. We ingest from satellite mainly and then transcode live and publish it on our platform. Our platform is multi-platform, as they say. It's web, mobile, connected TV, so the 3 screens. And we work very deeply with each of these news organizations to make their content available for different reasons. Every use case is different. Some broadcasters are looking for incremental reach. Other broadcasters are looking purely for revenue. And again, other broadcasters are looking for to learn and to build a presence on all these new devices and see what works and doesn't work at arm's length.
So the question is, why does a broadcaster like CNBC or Bloomberg need to, why can't, I mean, they're very well highly search optimized. Why do they need to be on your platform?
Well, again, every broadcaster has a different reason. If you're a very established news broadcaster, then you're facing very different problems from an emerging broadcaster, clearly. Brand is the least of your worries, but channel conflict might be an issue. So, for example, if you are the BBC, it's very difficult to stream your content into the United States because you have existing cable deals. At the same time, you want to build your presence, and building cable distribution is sometimes very challenging, especially for news providers. So trying to navigate through that through that fine line is very difficult. And Livestation, we can distribute content for free, but we can also distribute it behind a paywall, and then make it available to an audience where the broadcaster typically is not reaching yet.
What are the opportunities around subscription around news, which is a kind of antithetical in a way? Like people say, everyone's used to getting everything for free, and no one wants to pay, and it's basically ad-supported. Now you guys have like a 2-tiered thing about HD versus regular quality streaming, so you can get a quality. But what about your expectations for people to actually pay to access online video news, and pay for that either through apps or through some kind of online subscription scenario? I know you're working on some big things that you can't disclose right now, but where might that go in terms of the opportunity for online or digital subscriptions to live television programming?
There's a notion that people don't want to pay for news, and I think that's generally true. It's been discussed to death. When it comes to live news, it's relatively similar. People are facing the same problems. I think it's good to make a distinction between content that is available elsewhere and content that's not available elsewhere. If you take an established news broadcaster that is not available online but is locked up on cable deals, then people are willing to pay a little bit more for that. If a particular brand is not available at all, Al Jazeera is a great example. Al Jazeera happens to be streaming for free into the United States, but it's not available anywhere else, and there's a massive demand for the channel. So Livestation was the very first company to make Al Jazeera available in the United States, and we've seen a tremendous amount of interest in that channel. And we then worked very closely with Al Jazeera to give them the same capability, and they licensed our technology for their mobile apps and for their website. So we have a pretty good idea of how that has developed. But coming back to paying for news, we have, for lack of a better word, a freemium model for content that is already available for free. And you typically see a 95% of people that are not willing to pay, but 5% of hardcore users that really want to have a great quality feed so they can watch it on their connected TV, they don't want to see any ads. So you reach those people with a freemium model. Content that is unique and not available anywhere else, quite a few people are willing to pay for that. And Livestation as an aggregator, we are in a very unique position to not only resell an individual channel, but we sell bundles of channels. So if you're interested in, let's say, the BBC, then we will offer you some similar channels for a small upgrade. And there is demand for having multiple news channels at the same time.
And what about live? We talked about that a little bit earlier on. You guys have just made an agreement with Taboola. What's the opportunity? Tell us about discoverability of, I mean, Twitter, there's some catastrophe and people tune in right away, right? Something crosses the wire or it gets hot on Twitter and people get the word out. But and that's one thing. But in terms of like what's happening on live television that's of interest, how is that discovered, shared? How do people come to you? And maybe how might this arrangement with Taboola work in terms of referral of live programming in real time?
Well, first of all, we hope that the partnership with Taboola will prove to be very successful and profitable. We're kicking off very, very soon, so I'm very excited about that. The problem with live news, of course, is discoverability, lack of metadata, etc. On a channel level, it's fairly straightforward. So we recommend our users other channels that they can find on our platform based on what they've watched before, based on what the channel is typically covering. So right now, if you go to your iPhone or iPad app or our website, you can find a range of business channels. You can filter them by language. Very soon, it's by popularity, etc. It's algorithms. So that's on a channel level. Where it gets more interesting and more complicated is to do it on an actual content level. And we're looking at two paths to solve that problem. It's almost the holy grail of live. If you can solve that, you can apply all the fantastic stuff that has been developed for on-demand video to live. So the two areas that we're looking at, one of them is social curation. So a crowdsourced way of finding out what our channels are covering and allowing our users, for example, to clip a piece of content, provide context around it with comments, and then share it live on Facebook or Twitter or even on our website. That's one way. And we've already done that for Twitter, so you can take a screenshot from a live channel and then tweet pick it with a comment. And that gives us a sense of what's going on in real time.
Not to interrupt, but so in other words, the videos that you're streaming from all the broadcasters are in some kind of repository that can be captured and shared again, or could you explain that?
Yeah. So what we have on our platform today is when you're watching a live channel, you can take a screenshot, you click a button, you see the screenshot, and if you like it, then you can tweet it instantly, and that's proprietary technology. What we are looking at as a next phase is to do that in video format. So to go back in time, pause and rewind, take a snip of content, 30 seconds to a minute, and then post that video outside of the platform and within the platform. So essentially creating a real-time pulse of what our users find interesting across our channels, improving discoverability. And in effect, it's a crowdsourced way of finding out in real time what's going on in these channels. Clearly, you have rights issues there, and there's technical issues, but we're getting very close to solving that. The other way of doing it is to partner very deeply with the news broadcasters. And Livestation is unique in the sense that we have very close relationships with all of our content partners on a technical, commercial, but also on an editorial level. And we are working very closely with the newsrooms to get the metadata from them so that we know what's going on the channels. Not right now, but also over the next hour or so we can alert users. And secondly, we are, this is in R&D stage at the moment, but we are working with our partners to develop technology that we make available to our news broadcasters so they can integrate their live stream into their website. So if you have a story about a particular topic, as soon as the live stream starts to cover that story, it gets matched and integrated into a site. So those are the types of things that we are working on to address that issue.
Yeah, because live is ephemeral. It's here and it's gone, and there's a real value to it, but it's the value of who's watching at that given time. So I think if live can be time shifted, that's huge. And that's my approach as a producer to doing live programming is It's cool, you'll have a nice audience, a small audience, but it's really the opportunity to use that video in the long tail. And you know, live stream, for example, has a nice thing where you can cut a certain segment and just take that and then share it. So I think for you, obviously the challenges with the news publishers or their rights challenges, but if you can time shift the world's live programming, that could be big.
Yeah, and just one final comment on that. We've just launched the Wall Street Journal yesterday on Livestation, which is free content. It's available elsewhere. What's unique about that particular partnership is that they have a lot of video-on-demand content in addition to live. And it's working quite well. People that watch live will go into on-demand and vice versa. And the way that Livestation has implemented the Wall Street Journal content is that we refer people back and forth all the time. And we see that work quite well. The only shortcoming there is that every live news broadcaster that produces video on demand typically sees a time lag of several hours before they take content from their live broadcast and put it onto YouTube or their own website. So it doesn't really work that well for breaking news. And that's what we are trying to solve, to make that time shifting instant. To combine the best of live with the best of on-demand content.
Time shifting instant. That's my headline. That's awesome. Thank you.